Yeah. So sitting with the kids while they're prepping. So can you come and get me at 1:40? No, I'm just gonna leave the kids for. Well, I'm talking about the kids that need to prep for the debate thing. Listen, don't get sassy, okay? I'll show you. Yes, I'll go get you. I'll be in room. What is that?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our showcase. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. We're really happy that you're able to join us today. Thank you for being on the live stream link. And we are going to get started in just a couple minutes. Thank you so much.
Can you guys see? All right, you gotta move that, please. No, just move over there. You were there first, and that's what you said. Guys, you gotta separate yourself a little bit more, okay? Shit, No, they're not.
Okay, let's move it back so that okay, everybody. The audio good? Yeah. All right, so we are going to get started. First and foremost, for everybody that has been involved with RFSDI in the past, let me just say how amazing it is that we're able to be back together in a great environment, working with one another, focusing on building our communication skills, not only for this week, but again, as I mentioned earlier this week to you, these are skills which you hopefully will carry with you well beyond this week, this month. And really, the idea about RFSDI is developing the skills, developing the insight. The first on Monday was to find it all out. What am I here to do? What is this activity all about? Second day, you committed. You focused on what is it that I want to do and how am I going to do it. Third day, you put that into practice. And that practice is something that we always need to take a moment to understand that it's not about perfection. It's not about doing it one time and hoping it works. It's about really building your skill, finessing the skill so that you can practice to become better at your fourth step, performance. Yesterday was about performance, about putting all the different pieces together so that you yourself can achieve the goals that you set out for yourself on Monday. And today is the final day. It's about the polish. It's about putting the shine on all the work that you've done thus far and will continue to do even after this institute is over. So we're really excited to be able to share some of your work with not only all the students and the coaches here at RFSDI, but all of our friends and parents watching at home. It's not about whether you got into the showcase or not. It's really about what was the goal that I worked to achieve, and did I make that goal realized? Did I make myself a little bit better than I was before? Did I achieve what I set out to do? That's the focus. So we're going to get started with each team, and the coaches have deliberated. The coaches have debated themselves about where students are going to be presenting and performing. And now they're happy to share that information with all of you so that we can enjoy it. All right. So for those of you that are speaking, what I want to make sure you do is look for this blue square right here. This blue square means that you are center of Dr. B's screen. It also gives you a great place for us to be able to engage this audience right here. So I'm going to first turn it over to one of the assistant coaches here at Ridge. She has been working with public address all week long, and it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Dosby.
All right. Hello, everybody. For those of us at home, thank you so much for joining in. So as Mr. Y mentioned, I help out with public address, which is essentially public speaking. And the thing that I think is most important about this is that it teaches students confidence, communication, and clarity, right? It helps them be confident in what they are saying, believe in themselves, learn how to communicate effectively, and learn how to be very, very clear so that they are not misunderstood in all of their wonderful ideas. What we have done this year, instead of just having one speaker for one speech, there were so many wonderful speakers that we actually ended up pairing speakers with speeches. So you are going to get to see 6 of our public address students as we go through today's 3 speeches that we have for you. First up, we have the speech, A Year of Rejection by Jia Zhang, and that will be delivered by Ishan Allure and Trishna Inampudi.
When I was 6 years old, I received my gifts. My first grade teacher had this brilliant idea. She wanted us to experience gifts, but also learn the virtue of complimenting each other. So she had all of us come to the front of the classroom, and she bought all of us gifts and stacked them in the corner. And she said, "Why don't we just stand here and compliment each other? If you hear your name called, go and pick up your gift and sit down." What a wonderful idea, right? What could go wrong?
Well, there were 40 of us to start with, and every time I heard someone's name called, I would give out the heartiest of cheers. Then there were 20 people up, and then 10 people, and then 5, and then 3, and I was one of them. And then the compliments just stopped. So at that moment, I was crying, and the teacher was freaking out. She was like, "Hey, would anyone like to say anything nice about these people?" No one. "Okay, why don't you just get your gift and sit down? To behave next year. Someone might want to say something nice about you then." Well, as I'm describing this to you, you probably know I remember this really well.
Thank you guys, you did such a wonderful job. Next, we have another pair. These speakers will be delivering the 2003 Harvard Commencement Address given by Will Ferrell originally, today given by Arush Goyal and Risha Madan.
Today's speech is going to be a little different, a little unorthodox. Some of you may find this to be shocking. I'm not going to stand up here and try to be funny, because even though I'm a professional comedian of the highest caliber, I decided to do one thing that a lot of people are probably afraid to do, and that's give it to you straight. As most of you are probably aware, I didn't graduate from Harvard. In fact, I never even got a call back for admissions. I'm not one of you, okay? I can't relate to who you are or what you've been through. So, my gift to you, class of 2003, is to tell you about the real world through my eyes, through my experiences. And I'm sorry, but I refuse to sugarcoat it. I ain't gonna do it. And I probably shouldn't use the word ain't during this day in which we celebrate education, but that's just the way I play it. Make no mistakes. Harvard University is one of the finest in the land, and its graduates are that fine as well. As you set up into the world, don't be afraid to question your leaders. But don't ask too many questions at one time or that are too hard, because your leaders get tired and are cranky. All of you sitting here have the brightest of futures ahead. You know, I sincerely hope you enjoy this next chapter of your life, because it's really going to be great. Thank you. Good luck.
All right, thank you guys so much. Our final example of public address speaking for this week of camp is going to be the speech, My Year of Saying Yes to Everything, originally delivered by Shonda Rhimes, today delivered to you by Patrick Turk and Leo Alexander.
So a while ago, I tried an experiment. For 1 year, I would say yes to all the things that scared me. Anything that made me nervous took me out of my comfort zone. I focused myself to say yes. Did I want to speak in public? No. But yes. Did I want to be on live TV? No. But yes. Did I want to try acting? No, no, no. But yes, yes, yes. A crazy thing happened. The very act of doing the thing that scared me undid the fear, made it not scary. My fear of public speaking, my social anxiety, poof, gone. It's amazing. The power of one word. Yes, changed my life. Yes, changed me.
But there was one particular yes that affected my life in the most profound way, in a way I never imagined. And it started with a question from my toddler. Emerson asked me to play with her one evening when I was on my way somewhere, and I said yes. And that yes was the beginning of a new way of life for my family. I made a vow that from now on, every time one of my children asks me to play, no matter what I'm doing or where I'm going, I say yes every single time, almost. I'm not perfect at it, but I try hard to practice it. And it's had a magical effect on me, on my children, on our family. But it's also had a stunning side effect. And it wasn't until recently that I fully understood it, that I understood that saying yes to playing with my children likely saved my career.
So, such phenomenal deliveries, and these were the top 6 essentially that we could pair. There were so many other really talented speakers this week. We're so impressed by how much you guys have grown. Our next speaker, our next event that's going to be coming up is going to be Mr. Norris with his event, which is the current event speech. Woo!
Thank you, Ms. Oski. Everyone at home who don't know me, I'm a social studies teacher over here at Ridge, and I'm also the assistant debate coach. So this week, we've been learning all about how to research properly and to formulate a congressional style speech using claims, warrants, data, and impact, a phrase we've used a lot. So we're going to have 3 speakers with different current events. We're going to have the first come up, who is going to be Ahmad. So Ahmad, you can come on down and give your speech on immigration.
A human being is freezing cold, about to fall on the floor from tiredness and famish. They beg for some food and some mercy. The officer, however, denies them and beats them up for even asking. Sadly, millions of immigrants each year must go through this. To fix this problem, the United States government should take action and implement measures to make sure that immigrants get humane treatment. In order to do that, the government should pass a bill focusing more on immigrants. The current treatment of immigrants coming into the United States is wrong and needs to change. Officers starve, beat, and hold an unfair prejudice against people who are no less human than citizens comfortably living their lives in the United States. Plus, immigrants cannot speak out because of fear of deportation. This method of handling immigrants violates the Declaration of Independence itself, which states that all people have certain unalienable rights. However, these unalienable rights that are given to citizens are not presented to immigrants. According to Diana Van Bergen and Amanda Heredia Montesinos, 3 of every 34 women attempt suicide in detention centers, and 2 out of every 17 men attempt suicide in detention centers. Surprisingly, only 30% of women, only 30%, who attempted suicide did so willingly, and only 33.8% of men who attempted suicide did so. Most detainees who committed suicide wrote about depression and PTSD being their reason for suicide. This is why money towards immigrants would lead to less suicide. Detainees would feel less pressured and neglected. Additionally, the government should grant immigrants the same rights that citizens are entitled to. America is all about equality of people. However, this claim is taking a huge hit when we look at detention centers. Immigrants are trapped and treated like toys without regards to the fact that they are just as human as all other people. Imagine an officer in your house, controlling every aspect of your life and punishing you in ways you couldn't imagine for just misstepping here or just misstepping. This is what immigrants face in detention centers. and they need some more food. According to the American Civil Liberties Union, many of ICE's removal tactics take away even the right to a fair hearing in court, as the government rushes to judgment and tries to ram people through a rubber stamp system that ignores individual circumstances. This point emphasizes the inhumane and biased treatment towards immigrants as not being the same as people who were born in the United States. Giving them more rights would help them let go of fear of oppression and would help them feel more at home. Even though immigrants may be from a different place, speak a different language, eat different food, or have a different routine, at the end of the day, they are humans, the same as us, flesh and blood, and they should be treated the same.
Great job, Aman. Okay, next up, we're going to have Gautam, and he's going to give a speech about climate change. So come on down.
Climate change needs to be addressed. Imagine that you're walking home from school on a nice November day. As you enjoy the weather, you realize that November should be really cold and may also snow. However, as you look up in the sky, all you see is the sun, shining bright and warm, almost as if it was another summer day. Over these past years, so many things have changed, including the climate. What I mean is that climate change is taking a toll on us and the world. More flooding and other natural disasters have been reported, while the government is doing little to prevent such disasters. These disasters could be prevented by stopping the issue of climate change. One way the government can help prevent climate change is by helping the environment. According to NBC News, 6 ways ordinary people can prevent climate change is to, quote unquote, waste less food, eat less factory farmed red meat, consume less energy and food, call and meet with your representatives, open a dialogue and find common ground, and volunteer. These measures might sound confusing, but they really help a lot. Methane, a strong greenhouse gas from agricultural activities, waste management, and energy use, is the second largest cause of climate change behind fossil fuels. Food that is disposed of and spoiled causes methane, which people can reduce first. Eating less factory farmed red meat also helps the world from greenhouse gases, as factory farmed cows eat cow grains. This might not seem like a bad thing, but cow grains aren't part of the cow's natural diet, causing cows to release more methane than they usually produce. Consuming less energy and water is a reasonable idea that definitely helps, because the more energy and water you use, the more carbon dioxide, another strong greenhouse gas, will be released into the atmosphere. Calling and talking to your representatives, such as the mayor, governor, members of the Congress, etc., will help a lot, as they can help spread awareness to stop climate change. If they can't help or aren't helping enough, you can spread the awareness yourself, talking to others and finding common ground. Finally, volunteering in a nonprofit organization can really help, where you can help your community and society. In conclusion, climate change is an issue that must be addressed, starting from the ordinary people. We can help through wasting less food, eating less factory farmed red meat, consuming less energy and food, calling and meeting with your representatives, opening a dialogue and finding common ground, and volunteering. So the next time you step outside, remember that you could change the world and make it a better place through erasing climate change.
Okay, it's a powerful call to action. Last but not least, we have Mira, who's going to give a speech about CO2 reductions.
When you imagine yourself 30 years in the future, you may imagine yourself having a job you've always wanted, a family, and a nice house. But what you probably don't imagine is humankind going through a worldwide crisis and everyone trying to escape the rising sea levels. And the cause? Excessive CO2 emissions. As the idea of space tourism becomes a reality, all privately funded space companies must use liquid hydrogen fuel produced by electrolysis to fuel their spacecraft and rockets. This bill also states that 75% of the electricity used for electrolysis must come from clean energy sources. Electrolysis is a way to get hydrogen while also not harming the environment. This hydrogen can then be used to fuel a rocket or spacecraft. Our first intention is that by having all privately funded space companies complete this process by requirement, the potential of too much CO2 emissions will not exist. But space tourism still will. Let's explain how much CO2 is created by spaceflight. On July 11th of this year, the Virgin Galactic's first fully crewed spaceflight was launched. And according to the Financial Post, this spaceflight emitted 1,238 kilograms of CO2 to travel only 100 miles. This is the same amount of CO2 emitted by a plane that is traveling 6,900 miles. The CO2 emitted by these spaceflights destroys upper atmosphere ozone, meaning that us on Earth can eventually be exposed to ultraviolet rays, which in simple terms is terrible. Additionally, the Washington Post writes on July the 11th that the Virgin Galactic plans to resume ticket sales this fall, having suspended them after the 2014 accident. 600 people have already paid up to $250,000 apiece, and thousands more paid $1,000 to join the line. Other space companies have similar ideas. If such a large amount of spaceflights are going to occur, the rate of climate change will deeply accelerate. However, by passing this bill and using liquid hydrogen fuels, which do not produce carbon dioxide, these CO2 emissions will not exist. Our second contention is that using liquid hydrogen fuels is much more efficient than fuels that are more flammable. NASA.gov writes that hydrogen, a light and extremely powerful rocket propellant, has the lowest molecular weight of any known substance and burns with extreme intensity. The article goes on to mention that hydrogen is the most efficient rocket fuel. Since the weight of hydrogen is so low, a spacecraft or rocket will be able to store more fuel while also maintaining the same weight as a craft using normal fuel, leading to the craft being able to go farther. Plus, if a spacecraft can use less fuel to go the same distance, less CO2 will be created when actually making the fuel. This bill states that 25% of the electricity used to produce hydrogen can be from non-renewable sources. However, if less fuel is being produced in the first place, less electricity from non-renewable sources will be used. Overall, to reduce the amount of CO2 emissions produced in our world and help advance space travel with more efficiency, liquid hydrogen fuels must be used. Provide a better future for us all by passing this bill and making it mandatory.
Okay, those are some excellent, well-researched essays and speeches. Congrats to the entire Purple team for all the work you did this week. So next up, I'd like to introduce Ms. Stephanie Fletcher, who is our long-term interp coach, who is going to introduce some speeches to you.
So a lot of people hear interp and right away they think acting, which there is a lot of acting in interp. But as all students learned this week, interp is about getting your point across about the same issues that were just discussed. So you can do an entire piece on global warming and yet do it through a character instead of using your own words. However, the other thing we learned about interp is if you can defend it, there's no wrong choices. Interp is about your experience, taking your opinions, your personality, and putting it out there. Everyone did amazing this week. This week, I made everyone create an intro to their pieces. And we discussed how where we normally would spend time using facial expression, we didn't really have the time to do that. And it wasn't the best use of our time because of our masks, but we got into using our body, and we really focused a lot on how our characters have a goal and they have to reach that goal, or they have to not reach their goal and change their goals. So hopefully you will see lots of characterization with lots of either goal reaching in that climax or disappointment and goal changing or lessons learned. We are going to start today with our green group. Ethan, I'm going to ask you to go first. Yes.
Space can have many surprises and phenomena. Well, a very special astronomical phenomenon is happening. There is a ring around the moon, which anyone would want to watch. However, in order to see it, you need to have telescope or binoculars. Bernie catches himself in this situation. Will he get what he wants, or would he have a major disappointment? Let's find out. Dad, if you'll let me explain, then you'll understand. See, I'm spending the night at David's house. There's going to be a ring around the moon Friday night. It's an astronomical phenomenon. We get extra credit if we stay up late to see it. You can't see a once-in-a-lifetime thing like this by yourself. Don't look worried. I promise. We won't do any of the things we did last time. No bike riding after the dark. No chemistry experiments in the kitchen. Just moon watching. With your binoculars. Please, can I borrow them, Dad? Please? Parents can be really embarrassing. On the first day at a new school, Cortez doesn't want to look silly, but his dad wants to take a first day of school picture. What is more important, Dad's photo or looking cool? Papa, are you crazy? Put it away. Put the camera away. Dios mío, Papa. You want to make me look stupid? You see any other kid's father here with a camera? I know. Your uncle in Santo Domingo, your cousins in New York, your old grandpappy in San Diego. They all want a picture of Cortez on the first day of a new school. What are you, loco? Look, we'll take one when I come home with Mama. She'll put her arm around me. She'll say sonrilla. It'll be beautiful. Okay? Hey, where are you going? The first spell had me wrong. If you just want a hand, I don't mind. I don't know anybody at this school, so why do I care if you take a picture? Okay. Photo op. Adios, Papa.
So in case you didn't hear everyone cheering for him and see his name tag, that was Krish, also from the green group. I'm now going to have the red group go. I like this one piece, because he couldn't use facial expression, he brought in props, which usually isn't done in interp, but it works perfectly. So I'm gonna have Shlok come up here.
14-year-old Jackie Robinson is tired of the Jim Crow laws that separate blacks and whites. He feels hurt and wishes he could do all the normal activities whites can do. Someday, he hopes to change the world for the better. Mac, I hear what you and Mama say. Be patient. Good things will come to good people. But some days, I just can't take it. Why, Mac? Why do I have to be stuck up in the balcony when I go to the movies? Or when I'm sitting on the bus, I have to sit all the way in the back, even when there are plenty of empty seats up front. I want to drink out of that water fountain, but I can't. Because it says whites only. Why can't I go to that nice, pretty school instead of mine? You make a rule that said I'm no less than a white kid. It hurts, Max. Someday, I'm going to change it. I don't know how, but I'm not living in a world like this all my life. I'm going to change it.
And another history piece from our red group, Shloka.
Lily is a girl in California who wishes she spent more time with her brother.
I heard him. I heard President Roosevelt on the radio. He said every American who has a scrap of land should plant a victory garden. If we grow our own food, then the big farmers can send their food to the soldiers. It'll help us from the war, won't it? My yard's only 5 by 5 from back porch to alley. But Mama said we can plant some beans, maybe some squash. It'll help. It's gotta help. I'll do anything. Because my brother's over there. In Germany somewhere. We used to get letters from him, but we haven't gotten them in a long time. I get so scared every time I see a car coming down. That's how you feel. A man in a uniform couldn't see. I can't do it. You better get started. What do I do first?
And our blue group. Arush, we're going to start with you.
Breaking up parents' things is scary. First, First, you don't want to get in trouble. The solution to this problem is be honest. To make excuses to his mom, through this story, we can say honesty is the best way to deal with these tricky situations. Mom, it was an accident, I swear. I wasn't running. I was hurrying. And the table must have been sticking out in the hallway more than it usually does. Because I hurry past his vase every day. And I've never broken it before. I'm sorry. Can I glue it back together? I'm great at puzzles. I guess not. Mom, it's my feet. They've got a life of their own. They're huge, uncontrollable, like an alien life form. You know the new boots you bought me last week? They don't fit anymore. And the new gloves too. Except my hands are 3 times too big for my arms. Maybe I should join the circus. People can save money to see the kids with the weirdest body on them. Trips on his mother's table without noticing. I'm really sorry, Mom. I'll do something to fix it. Promise.
And final speaker for Interp is Ria.
When I was younger, I really wanted a dog so more people would come over. But years later, I realized I didn't need cool things to have cool friends. Please, Dad, it doesn't cost that much. It's the coolest thing. It's a set, 20 different nail polish colors and a matching tattoos. Of course they come off. Look, I'll make up my bed. Promise, take the garbage out twice a day. Never be late for the bus. And Carla and I will never fight again when she comes over. Because now I'll be Carla's best friend instead of Tracy, because now I'll have the best stuff. Didn't you know that's why she comes over? That's why anybody comes over. If you got good stuff, you got friends.
So I would now like to introduce you at home. All of you know him, Dr. B.
Hi everyone, so I hope you guys all had a great time in debate. I'm so proud of you, and it was really hard trying to pick people for this showcase because you guys all did such a great job. But we did, I tried to be as even as possible to spread it out throughout all the groups. So if we can have the people that I've chosen for debate to come up here. We have Yao from the red team. Arif from the red team as well. Kavish, where's Kavish? Kavish, come on up. Okay, we're just setting up here just so we can have a proper debate. Yeah. And then, Okay, Kevin, you're sitting down. Okay, now, and you guys are the proposition team, correct? Proposition team. For our opposition team, we have, where is our opposition team? Oh, there you go. We have Nibby. We have Alice. There's Alan from our green team. Yes, and we also have at home virtually, we have, hold on one second. We have Caleb. Caleb, can you turn on? No, not Caleb. We have Aryaman. Aryaman, where are you?
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Can you turn your video on?
I can't. It says
Okay.
the host is like stopped it.
Mr. Yastremski is going to put you guys on, okay? So you can put your video on for you to participate, okay? So we decided that our topic for our debate was one that our red team came up with, right? And the resolution for our red team's debate was that all animals should be banned from circuses. Okay, all animals should be banned from circuses. Okay, so without any further delay, our proposition team's first speaker is going to present their case. I'm going to pull up the thing for you. Okay, you can use this as a podium, okay? So if you come and stand here, I think that will be actually pretty good.
We affirm the resolution that circus animals should be banned because the cruelty towards circus animals far outweighs the entertainment they provide. Therefore, circus animals should be illegalized. One of the reasons why this should happen is that animals are being abused in circuses mentally. They're not getting the attention they need, and they're not getting the proper living conditions. Animals in circuses can sometimes be seen pacing back and forth in their confinement, sometimes lashing out at those who take care of them. Their conditions take a toll on them. Signs of their mental anguish include a plethora of stereotypical behaviors such as swaying, pacing, bar biting, and self-mutilating. Traveling circus life is likely to have a harmful effect on animal welfare as well, as captive animals are unable to socialize, get enough exercise, or exhibit natural behaviors. Many animals develop behavioral and/or health problems as a direct result of the captive life they are forced to lead. This is obviously a horrible thing for them because you are making these animals suffer mentally. And some people have the argument that some humans may become depressed if they can't go to the zoo. So you're getting rid of some animals. You're causing animals to be depressed. Many animals are depressed. A few kids can not be depressed. And then my second contention is that animals are being abused in circuses physically as well. Animals are beaten and whipped if they refuse to do an act, and the acts can permanently cause pain to the animals. Elephants, for example, are made to stand on one leg and spin in circles, often while standing on top of small stools. These are actions elephants have never been observed carrying out in the wild, precisely because they cause long-term damage to the animal's physiology. It's well documented that elephants are forced to perform these actions by being beaten with bullets, while young elephants are savagely restrained and beaten in a process known as the crush, which breaks their spirits and forces them to comply. Big cats are also popular in circus, but many have their teeth and claws removed, rendering them harmless to their abusers. They are trained with whips, which teach them to fear the ringmaster and not attack. So you're just animals, it could actually cost them an arm, a leg, and a firstborn child, just so that you guys can just watch them suffer. The thing is, animals should not be banned. Did you know that tigers in captivity live for 11 years longer than in the wild? In a circus, they kept in cages, but are fed really well and have all the medications they need. Therefore, their needs are met. And circuses can save endangered species. If the species in the wild, they might get eaten by predators. And the circus takes them, they protect them from everything that harms them. Animals in the private food. And circuses travel nearly year-round in all weather seasons and days at a time. While on transit, the animals are confined to trailers or trucks where they do not have access to basic medicine, water, and medical care. Elephants are caged when big cats are imprisoned in cages in which they eat, drink, defecate, and urinate all in the same place twice. And so, Allie, you know how you said that at least they'll know how to survive. Many of you may think that banning animals from the circus is the right thing to do. But instead of banning the animals, we could make other changes to the circus itself. For example, circus animals receive the food, shelter, and veterinary care that they need. If they were hurt in the wild, it might take a longer time for them to heal than it would if they were at the circus. Animals hold a great amount of entertainment for many people, not just a few. Keeping endangered animals at circuses could keep them safe from poachers. And it could also teach people and show people that these animals are safe. So many people's jobs at circuses are to train the animals what to eat. If the animals are banned from circuses, they would just lose their jobs, which would cause them to have no money to food or anything like that. And if you ban animals for the circus, it's not going to stop anyone from going and buying the animals and then using them for some other thing. So we might as well keep them at the circus. You could also find better trainers or better ways to train animals so that they are not whipped with ropes or whipped with chains. It is legal in some places to have animals at the circuses, so it's not like circuses are breaking the rule of having animals at their circus. Also, animals are get glory and rewarded, and a few people might find their favorite animal at a circus by finally seeing their favorite animal. In my opponent's speech, in the opposition speech, they stated one point that animals in the circus were actually fed very well, and they received medications that would otherwise not be available in the wild. However, not all the time are these animals fed sufficiently until they feel satisfied. For example, the circus operates in a situation where if an animal refuses to do an act, it won't be fed. So instead of being fed really well, some of these animals are being starved and deprived of food. And they wouldn't even need these medications if circus trainers didn't abuse them and torture them with crude weapons like the bull. Secondly, the opposition also stated that we are currently helping to save endangered species by allowing them to be in the circus, safe from apex predators like lions, which exist in the Kenya, in the African wildlife. However, big game like elephants and gazelle that's food and sustenance for these creatures, and some of these animals, like elephants, which are endangered, have evolved evolutionary traits to make sure that they don't completely die out, which is why we can still see an elephant in the grassland today. And even if these evolutionary traits eventually don't work out, we'll still have national parks that don't abuse these animals, but still save these animals. So circuses are not the only way that we are currently saving these animals, but they are the options that we should choose at a last resort. Lastly, the opposition stated that we should make changes to the circus instead of completely abolishing animals. However, we can't make changes. We've been trying to make changes for the last few decades, but none of that has worked out. We're still currently dealing with circuses that abuse their animals. We've already put animal rights laws into play, and yet these animals are still cruelly beaten and whipped. Therefore, if you don't want these poor animals to get killed and suffer in the process of dying out slowly, then vote proposition.
So one of the reasons that the proposition team said was that animals are abused and they have to do a lot of stuff, but also they get a lot of medications and they're not fighting in the survival till they die. And so in conclusion, animals in circuses should not be banned as per the various reasons my partners have explained. First of all, a lot of people are dependent on circuses for their livelihood, but without animals, the circus may shut down and people will lose their jobs. Secondly, circuses protect the animals from poachers or predators. Finally, animals should be trained in a gentle way instead of completely banning them from the circus. Now think about, do you really want to ban animals which will ruin the livelihood of so many people? The choice is yours.
Okay, can we all give our debaters a nice round of applause for all of them? So everyone's a winner, right? Okay, everybody. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So we are going to now recognize you all. Again, the work that you all did this week has been truly amazing. What I'm going to do is call you up by group. You're going to come up and you're going to line up literally from where Dia is standing by the edge, right up so that folks can see it at this pole. So again, from the pole to where Dia's at, and we're going to present you with your certificates along with the photo, your camp photo, and your feedback. So you want to share that with your parents so that they could see what kind of work you did this week. And parents at home,
feel free to ask them for it. So you can see all the great things that they have been doing this week as well. So we're going to first bring up the blue group. Blue group, if you want to come up and line up, we're recognizing Arush. Oh, when we are at speech and debate tournaments in person, and we're at awards, we've always used the one clap rule. And what that is we say a name and everybody claps once. So let's try it. Thank you for our amazing interp workshop, Mrs. Fletcher. Perfect. Okay, so while I'm saying the names, our counselors are going to be giving the blue group their certificates and feedback forms. Let's give recognition from the blue group: Arush Agarwal, Apriti Suresh Babu, Ariel Patel, Aryaman Arora, Christian Lazar Galileo, Alani Shafulu, Maddie Kelly, Namai Shrivastava, Nivrithi Bila, Patrick Turk, Priya Lahea, Raunak Dugad, Sean Naidu, Sid Manan, and Krishna Ampudi. Okay, blue group, you're now going to go back to your classroom. You're going to go back to your classroom, pick up all of your lunches and your materials. Okay. Guys, go back to classroom. Okay, we're going to start with the green group. Green group, come on up and line up. Our counselors are going to help with the certificates in the green group. All right. So again, one clap roll. Everybody ready? From the green group: Alan Chu, Arjun Garam, Arush Goel, Caleb G, Ethan Yan, Ishan Allure, Caitlin Lowe, Havish Manik, Krish Deshpande, Nisha Malhotra, Michelle Aman, Ruthie James, Naya Ratabakini. Group, go back to 414 so you can get your materials. All right, red group, come on up. Come on, line up from the pole to the edge of the wall. Purple, we need you to be really loud now with that one clap. Sound good? Come on, you can move up a little bit. All right, recognizing our red group: Aryav Mathur, Aiza Bey, Anisha Goel, Ishani Pillai, Kenneth Wu, Leo Alexander, Nishank Shivapur, Rajav Rajkumar, Rishna Madan, Shlok Janani, Vishnu Shrikant, Yao Wang. Congratulations. Okay, and purple, come on up. Folks that are at home, you're going to be getting your certificates and photos in the mail within the next week. Okay, our purple group, line up. Line up so those at home can see you. Come on. Over here. Walk over. Very good. You're our older students. Very nice. And you've been doing a lot of great work. For our purple team: Gautam Rajkumar, Aman Manda, Aryav Gadam, Freddie Gu, Jana Han, Kira Shah, Nathan Lowe, Prabhab Cote d'Ivoire, and Risha, Portugal. All right, so thank you, everybody. Thanks to our parents and all of our virtual folks. We really appreciate that you joined us today. We are looking forward, for those of you that are attending next week, we're going to have a fantastic week 2 of RFSDI. If you are picking up your child, remember to go first to your color group assignment. If we are not there any longer, you can go to the blue assignment, which is right in front of the school. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Can we leave?
All right, so you can.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, bye-bye.